Hello, everybody. This is David here, aka Chessman, and we're here to go over the World Championship match that happened in 2010 versus it was Viswanathan versus Veselin Topalov. He was the challenger. Vishy was the champion, and I believe this was Viswanathan's fourth defense, and he did defend it. And basically, what we're doing is I've been covering the World Championship matches, starting from the most recent and going back. And basically, we're finding out what openings they used so we can add that to our opening repertoire. I figure one way to figure out which openings to practice is to see what the best players in the world play and do like them. So that's what we're doing. This was played starting April 24th, 2010, all the way to May 11th of 2010. And I'm using 365chess.com for my information. They have a nifty tool here that allows us to see what opening they used. So that's what we're going to be using. You can also download the game on the PGN file from here, and you can update and you can load it into like chess.com's analysis board and do a game review if you want. We may do that on one of their games. We might. There's a lot of games to cover, so it may be a while before we get to this. There's a lot of great games in the World Championship matches and other tournaments that I'm gonna try to cover. So there's a long list. But if you have any suggestions, just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to find it out. I'll try to find out where the game is, and yeah, we'll do what we can. So let's get started. Get your notebooks out, and let's take some notes. Let's see, the first game. In the first game, they played a D86 Grunfeld Exchange Classical Variation. And in case you're not taking notes and you're trying to learn visually, I'm going to play the moves. It went D4, Knight F6, C4, G6, Knight C3, D5, C takes D5, Knight takes D5, E4, Knight takes C3, B takes C3, Bishop G7, and Bishop C4. That is the D86 Grunfeld. And if you come to this website, what you can do is you can look at the games that were played from this position and see what moves they made from here. Add that to your notes as well. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to continue with the games, and let's move on. So that was a D86 Grunfeld, which Topalov won. He scored the first victory. And the second game, they played an E04 Catalan Open with 5 Knight F3. And the opening goes D4, Knight F6, C4, E6, G3, D5, Bishop G2, D takes C4, and Knight F3. That's the E04 Catalan. And Anand won that game to tie the match. So maybe we'll look at one of these games in a future video. Or maybe all of them. Alright. In this game, the third game, they played a D17 Queen's Gambit declined Slav check defense. And the opening goes D4, D5, C4, C6, Knight F3, Knight F6, Knight C3, D takes C4, A4, Bishop F5. It's the D17 Queen's Gambit declined Slav check defense. And that was a draw. It looks like we already covered this one. The fourth game, they played the E04 Catalan Open with 5 Knight F3 again, so we're not gonna look at that again. We already got that down. That was the fourth game, which was a win by Anand. He took the lead in the match. And it looks like the next game, Game 5, we already covered this. It was the D17 Queen's Gambit declining check defense. We already got that. So we're going to move on. Game 6, they played an E04 Catalan Open again. We already covered that, so we're going to move on. See, games, and those games were draws. So Game 7. Game 7, they played an E10 Queen's Pawn game. And it goes D4, Knight of 6, C4, E6, Knight of 3. And it looks like Anatoly Karpov played this in at least 274 games as black. Viktor Korchnoi played 299 games as black. I don't recognize the other grandmasters. I assume they're grandmasters. Alright, that was the E10 Queen's Pawn game. Looks like in Game 8, which Topalov won to tie the match, it was also the Queen's Gambit declined Slav check defense. We already got that, so we will skip that one. Let's see, Game 9. Let's do Game 9. Game 9, they played an E53 Nimzo Indian with move 4 E3, mainline with C5. Maybe you just want to type in E53 Nimzo Indian. Maybe that's good enough. The opening went D4, Knight of 6, C4, E6, Knight C3, Bishop B4, E3, Castle Kingside, Knight of 3, D5, Bishop D3, C5. That was the E53 Nimzo Indian. That was a draw. Let's see, Game 10. Game 10, they played a D86 Grunfeld exchange classical variation. And the opening goes D4, Knight of 6, C4, G6, Knight C3, D5, C takes D5, Knight takes D5, E4, Knight takes C3, B takes C3, Bishop G7, Bishop C4. That's the D86 Grunfeld. And that was a draw. Let's go on to Game 11. Game 11, they played an A29 English, 4 knights, kingside fianchetto. And the opening goes C4, E5, Knight C3, Knight C6, Knight F3, Knight F6, G3. That was the A29 English. And that game was a draw. So they went into the final game, it being all tied up. And in the final game, they played a D56 Queen's Gambit declined Lasker defense. And the opening went D4, D5, C4, E6, Knight C3, Knight F6, Bishop G5, Bishop E7, E3, Castles Kingside, Knight F3, H6, Bishop H4, Knight E4. This was played by Pia Krambling in 12 games. And that was the D56 Queen's Gambit declined. And that was the last game. Anand won that game, and that secured him the match. So he defended his title, and that was that. That's it for today. If I remember, I'm still looking at games from previous, more recent World Championship matches to cover. Eventually, I think I'll get to this. It's just there's so many world championships to cover, and there's so many games from each of them that are worth covering that it's difficult to choose. I'm trying to make a list, but it's not easy. So, but I'll the games I cover should be good. They should be all of them should be good. There's so many to choose from. So I'm gonna do the best I can. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'm still pretty new to this. I haven't been a YouTuber for that long, and I'm still learning. So I hope you like and subscribe. I hope you join me on this life journey of chess, and I hope you support me and want me to become one of the best chess. Um, I don't know if I'm a commentator or a chess person. I want to be one of the tops, one of the greats, or at least right underneath the greats. Try to stay humble. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you all have a great one, and I hope you guys pursue your own careers, and I hope everyone gets what they want out of life. And yeah, so enjoy your day. Bye.